make sure everyone else can get signed in. So we'll start in just a few more minutes. All right, I'll go ahead and get started. Thank you everyone for joining us today. We are excited to introduce Expert Office. My name is Ryan Johnson, and I'm the project manager here for the Independent Marketing Group of American National. Expert Office was built with flexibility in mind. It's a product that we have made specifically to work on your Mac, iPad, Android tablets, and PC. We also support all major browsers while connected to the internet. If you're not connected to the internet, we offer a desktop install on our website and also an app in the App Store and the Google Play Store. So you can still use ExpertApp while not online. All right. All right. As we log in, we'll see a large button approach that puts all the modules at your fingertip. We have Expert Illustrator, which is our new illustration system, which generates solutions for your clients' life needs. Expert App, which we're going to be demoing today. Expert Scan provides the ability to upload your life and annuity paper applications, requirements, and/or post-issue changes. New Business allows you to check the status and requirement needs of your pending business. The Enforce Inquiry System allows you to check the current values, data, and status of your Enforce business. Supply Order allows you to order printed forms and marketing material. And then finally, the Expert Reports. It's used to pull commission statements, agent letters, and more. Majority of these will require an internet connection since the data is real-time. However, Expert App you can use with a connection and without a connection. Before I get started, everyone is on mute. So if you want to ask any questions, please put them in the questions box. And depending on the time, we'll hold those to the end. And we'll answer them then. If we run out of time, we'll send an email out to everyone to include in all the questions and answers that we didn't get to. And lastly, we received a lot of good feedback from our pilot and the first webinar. We've addressed many of the suggestions and concerns, so I think this is going to be good for everybody. We're looking to roll this out Monday, August 1st, so right around the corner. So we're excited. All right, so let me go ahead and get started. All right, so this is, actually let me switch over. This is the ExpertApp dashboard. This is where all of your cases will be located that you've started or submitted. You'll see the status, you'll see the name, status, the product that part for the case, the policy number if you've submitted it, and the last time it was modified. You have the ability to filter based on all of the column names as well as navigate through multiple pages as you accumulate the cases that you've created. Over here on the left, you also have a menu bar that you can access all of the systems from the dashboard, so that you wouldn't have to actually go back and find the system that you want to go to. They're all at your fingertips here. All right, so what I'm on here is the web version. As you can see, we're connected to the internet, just a URL. We also have, like I mentioned before, the desktop version, which can be used offline and online. So let me jump over here to the desktop. As you can see, we have 4 cases here on the web version. The desktop version is basically anything that has been created on my physical device. So this can be used with your tablet or your laptop, and you can take this into the field where an internet connection isn't available, and you can take the app, complete the sign-in process, and once you get back online, you can then submit it to us. So once I'm on this version right here, we have the ability to, with the sync option, to go and look and see what cases have been created that I can pull onto my device. So if I had started it and I wanted to take my laptop or my iPad somewhere, I could just grab the one case that I wanted, download it, and now it's available on my dashboard within the disconnected version. We have it set up so that any changes that you make on the disconnected version, on this version, whenever you open or close it, it will sync up to basically sync up to our servers, so that it's always current on the web version. Within the sync, these 2 options here relate to that auto sync that I was speaking of. So we're always going to update the most recent items. So that's just the way it is as default. If you, for whatever reason, want to change that, that's what this option is for. And we also have it set up to only sync when you're on Wi-Fi. That way, if your primary source of internet is a cellular data connection, we didn't want to eat up all of your data. So we have that set to only sync when it's on Wi-Fi. Obviously, that can be changed if you have an unlimited plan or something like that. All right, so starting a case. Jump back over to the web. Starting a case can be done a couple different ways. The first, which is probably where most of y'all will start it, is in Expert Illustrator. So this is just our illustration system. This is the dashboard of the illustration system and all the different illustrations that I've set up. I'm going to pick the first one just to kind of show you how to maneuver through it. All the information is already entered just ahead of time. So what you would want to do here is go to Action, ExpertApp, and all of the information that I had set up on the illustration transfers over to the ExpertApp system along with the illustrations, which will then go through the signing process. So we'll receive it already signed, so you won't have to worry about collecting that signature as well. One thing to note on that, the illustrations can only be attached to be signed if they are created out of Expert Illustrator. So if your illustration was created in the old LPS system, you could still attach it in a different area, but it wouldn't go through the signing process. So just something to keep in mind. All right. So that's one method to begin an application. Another one is just obviously to click the red button to start a new case. And from here, you would just enter all of the information for the client. I'm going to go back and go to some cases that are already created just for time's sake. All right. So this is a case for our signature term product. Everything was already filled in. This is the very first screen that we saw previously. So based on the information it's collecting, and it's going to load whatever forms and applications are needed based on the information that is entered. We have the option here to select whether you want to also view simplified issue products or unselect it to not. So if you deal a lot with simplified or not, you have the option to filter those out. So as you see, there's a signature term simplified, and uncheck it, it's just the signature term. So everything on the screen basically follows the app. As you answer questions, as I mentioned, new forms would get created, so you don't ever have to worry about whether the most current form or whether you got all the correct forms together. Everything is going to be packaged up and included in this process. Over here, you'll notice that each of the pages will either have a check or an X based on whether you have completed everything on the page. So that's just all of the information. One thing I want to note here is we have a cool feature that allows you to search the address. It's using a Google driver in the background, so it will start filtering your address based on the information that you enter. As you notice, all the fields are clearly marked if they're required. And as we enter different information, for example, I'm disabled or this client is disabled, it will then prompt me to complete the disabled questionnaire. So as that changes, so does the requirements. Just all the information, product information, and also the premium information. Those are two pages that will also contain data that carried over from the illustration system. So the amount of insurance, the term, the premium, some of those pieces of information will carry over from the illustration system, so you don't have to re-enter that. All right. Beneficiary. So pages, as you would expect, just all the information that you would need to collect for the beneficiary. We do allow as many beneficiaries to be entered electronically as you have. I know we are limited with the IGO system, the iPipeline system, but that limitation has been removed with this system. We do have the option here so that if the SSN is not available, we can check it and that field goes away and it's not required, so you can move forward without having to enter that information. I know there are times where that does come up. All right, replacement, basically everything that we would need. It would vary based on the different state languages, so all of that would be included within the system. Answer no for time's sake. Premium information. So this is where like the premium amount would carry over, and then all the other information that you would need regarding that. All right, this is another nice feature of the system. So most of the time, maybe not all the time, but most of the time we have a few doctors that that we see for various conditions. So instead of having to enter a doctor for every time we enter whatever health condition the client may have, you can enter it once. So I entered Dr. Ridley here. And so then I go to the medical history, and I'm able to find the doctor, Dr. Ridley, and it will populate all the information that I entered previously. So that will save a lot of time if there's a lot of health conditions that that have to be taken into account, and it happens to be the same doctor. We have the ability to also add a new doctor. So if Dr. Ridley is not the only one, so then you'll see the one that I just added another doctor. I had added a new doctor and another previous test, but so now we have 3 in the system, and you can enter as many as you'd like. But they'd all be available in that drop-down. Another nice feature, if there happen to be multiple or more than one insurers, for example, like a term rider, you would have each of those people available in this drop-down, so you could select exactly which condition applies to who. So just moving through, these are all of the medical history questions on the application. This one here, the non-medical hazards, a lot of the questionnaires get generated based on some of these answers or combinations of answers, along with the information that you had entered previously. And notice and consent. This is where the requirements can be ordered. Attachments. So I showed you how we can attach the illustration through transferring it from Expert Illustrator. If for whatever reason you have an illustration from, for example, from our old system or any other supporting documents, you can attach them here. So just a matter of choosing the document. And oops, I did it twice. I can go back and remove them as I need to. All right, the next 2 pages are the agent report. I think y'all are probably familiar with that. Just additional information regarding the agent. We have the ability here to designate whether it will be split, and if so, we would just collect all of that information of the other agent or agents. So we could add additional with this plus sign here. So you can add as many that you want to split with. All right, so once we get to this screen, which is, I guess that last screen was really the end of the application process. If you notice, I didn't complete that medical history page, so it's not going to allow me to lock. So I need to fix everything. Everything has to be checked in green in order to continue. All right, so I'll just go ahead and say no. And we're all good. So from here, we can go ahead and lock it and start the signing process. I'm going to just jump over to an SI product. So just so you can quickly just see the difference. Since the app is considerably smaller, obviously the number of pages that we would have to go through is reduced as well. All right, so basically all these are pretty much the same. I didn't touch on the writers on the last one. We had the option on this one to select child writer and the amount. So by doing that, it's loaded a new page that's required for me to complete before submitting the application. All right, and okay. USA Patriot Act will load based on the product that was selected. Selected the UL, so we're going to need it on that one. Health questions, we got 3 health questions. Very limited as you expect with an SI app. All of these are basically the same as what we went through prior. So on this one, I'm going to go ahead and lock the app and then go through or start the signing process. All right, so the app is locked. So if you notice over here, the green check marks change to locks. So I can go look at the information that I entered and locked, but I can't change anything. So everything is locked up until you unlock it. One thing to keep in mind regarding the lock and unlock, if you do collect any signatures and you happen to unlock it, all those signatures go away, so you'd have to redo all of those. So unlock it only when necessary. All right, these are the different signing methods. We have script sign, which basically allows you can sign with the mouse, but I think it's really useful and will be used most with the tablets. It'll allow you to sign it right there on the screen. We have the remote sign and the rapid sign, which are basically the same, except of how it gets to the client. So the rapid sign would be if you're face-to-face with the client, and it's a matter of just clicking to sign. The remote sign is clicking to sign as well, but we're going to email that to the client so that they can do it at their home or wherever they need to. And then of course, print, sign, and submit. That's pretty self-explanatory. On that one, instead of submitting it through this system, you would have to submit it through our ExpertScan system or mail it in. ExpertScan would be preferred since it would get to us a lot faster. But that's a more traditional way of going through it. All right, so on this one, I'm going to select the scripts. No, actually, I'm going to do this one. All right, so I'm going to go through the rapid sign for this client. Okay, just getting everything together, connecting to the e-sign process with Solanus, which is the e-sign partner we use. All right, over here on the right are the documents that are the steps that we need to go through in order to complete the process. On the left, it will show you what action is needed before you can continue. So in this case, this is a disclosure, consent, so that we just need to scroll down and accept. This is all the information that we entered on the application. Over here, you'll notice the little arrow that indicates that there's a signature line that needs to be signed. So if I scroll too fast and miss it, it'll point you in the right direction. Okay. The client is accepting the information on the Patriot Act form. All right. So client signs, and then the agent signs. I'm going to go through the agent real quick, or as quick as I can, just so we can look at the submit process. All right, so we've finished the signing. Everything's good. There are 3 steps before the case can be submitted. Obviously, we check we know that everything is signed. This first step is really primarily used for the rapid sign, but since they're kind of one and the same, it's just the method of how we're delivering it. And that's why this is included here. So all right. Second. All right, well, it appears that there was a connection issue on my machine. So my machine is having a connection issue. So what it would do here is basically show you that that everything has been signed. That would then activate step 2, which would allow you to print all the forms that are to be left behind. And then it would then activate step 3, which would then allow you to submit it. I wasn't going to submit it anyway, since it's a live case. I didn't want it to be sent to underwriting. So those are the 3 steps whenever you're ready to submit the case. You can also view forms at the very top, but we will skip that part. All right. Let me just go back into ExpertApp system. Actually, let's go through the desktop version this time. All right. I'm going to select John, and we're going to go through the script sign process. All right, all this is the same as what we saw previously. I'm going to select script sign. So this is going to look a little bit different. Same concept though. We're going to have to go through the consent, acknowledge that it's been read, view all of the documents. So I'm going to, these are just basically everything that is included in that was built based on the information that we submitted. So I'm just going to go through these rather quickly. All right, agree. And this is the box here that you would use to sign. So I'm going to sign with my mouse. And save it. If you didn't like your signature, you have the ability to clear it and do it again before you had saved it. I already saved it. Time to move on. All right, so this is for the owner. Everyone has to view the documents prior to signing. I imagine it would be a lot cleaner and easier to sign this on a tablet versus a mouse. Just kind of the reason it looks a little sloppy there. All right, now the agent. Yes. All right, so with the script sign, so we have the forms that need to be left behind. In this case, it's the buyer's guide and the notice and consent. So click on that, it allows you to print them. Each individual one. And then once complete, the submit button will become active, and clicking that will produce a policy number and send all of the documents to us for processing. You can also view the forms up here if you needed to go back and look at any of the forms that you have put together. We'll also include signatures that you just completed as well. So if you needed a copy of the signed application for your records, you would have the ability to get that right here. Okay. that is how you go through the ExpertApp system from start to finish. Now, I'm not going to get into this too much, but I wanted to also give you a quick glimpse into another update that's going to be available on 8/1. So Monday as well, we will be introducing our new website. It's the same URL. It's just going to have a new design and some added features. One of the added features that I just wanted to touch on real quick was the ability to log in to the ExpertApp or Expert Office system. So within the new design, we would have the login up here in the menu, which would allow you to type in username and password, which would then put you into. You wouldn't leave this site. It would just give you additional features. So all the different systems you'd be able to access here, but you'd be actually logged in to the Expert Office system. So it allows you just to stay in one location, just to make it easier, more convenient, and you can still navigate through our page and find any additional information that you may need. It would look similar to this whenever you are logged in, where you would have each of those systems available for your needs. So I think that's going to be helpful to many. I think many will like that. All right. So that is it in a nutshell as far as the ExpertApp system. Actually, one thing I wanted to show real quick. Apologize, I'm not quite done. On the remote sign, we looked at the rapid sign. The remote sign is basically the same, but I mentioned it's through email. So I wanted just to quickly show everyone what those emails look like. So once you kick off the process to send the email to the client will get an email just like that. So it will have the agent's email address. It'll basically look like it's coming from the agent. It will address the client. The client clicks here. They enter their PIN, which is set up at the beginning of the process, and they just go through the steps, basically the same steps that we looked at through the. So once the client signs, then the agent will get an email letting them know that the client has signed. So, and oftentimes there's a few different parties that have to sign. So with each, there's an owner, various insurers. You'll get one notifying with each of those that have actually completed the process. So once everyone's done, the agent will then get this email so that the agent can then go in and finish up the process. All right. So that is everything expert app that we can go through. Trey's a Assistant Vice President of Marketing Operations, so he's going to assist me with some of the questions since I don't have, cannot see them all at the moment. Were there any unanswered questions, Trey, that we might need to address?
I answered a majority of them online, and I sent to all while I was replying, unless it was something specific to that person.
Okay.
The ones that I have unanswered, one that we'll have to look at is that problem that you had with the e-signature. So we need to look into that and get back to this group, let them know what happened, and then what the recourse is if that does happen to them in the field.
Yep. Okay.
A couple other questions. One of the questions is how do we download the app and how do we get it onto their iPads? Basically, we're going to have a page on our website to download ExpertOffice. It'll be in the ExpertOffice mega menu on the very right-hand side on the bottom, and that will have a direct link to how to download it for your PC. It will also have a link there to go to the iPad store and then go to the Google Play Store.
So right here would be where it would be located.
If you go to the App Store itself and want to find it on A1, it will be, all you have to do is search on ExpertOffice, and it's the only one that shows up. One of the questions, and I have a feeling I'm going to get this a lot, ExpertOffice and ExpertApp specifically do not work on a smartphone yet. We weren't sure how many people would actually be able to use a complete application through the phone, but we do have plans to open up. If ExpertApp is not available, ExpertOffice definitely will be, but we're working on getting that available as well. I got a question on how to access the website. Right now, in a production environment, we actually have the new website out there. I'm not advocating its use. But if you go to img.anicoweb.com on Monday, you'll be able to select IGO underneath that mega menu under Submit New Business. So right there where Ryan has the menu up, there's ExpertApp, ExpertScan, and then IGO eApp. You'll be able to get to it from there. Another question on questions concerning ExpertOffice. After it's available, yes, you'll contact the Field Support Center. They've been trained on how this app works. They'll be able to screen share with you and walk through any problems that you might have. I got another question, will this work on a Windows phone? I don't have any Windows phones here, so we haven't tested it. It's still a phone, so I don't know that you'll get the best experience out of it, but we'll see what we can do about getting a phone so we can walk through those paces as well. One of the questions is, can illustrations be signed by e-signature? If you run this through WinFlex, if you run your illustration through WinFlex, if you run your illustration through Expert Illustrator, it will, and you attach it in the appropriate spot in ExpertApp, it will be signed during the e-signature process. If you run it through LPES, which is there for, we haven't determined a date that we will take life out of LPES yet, but if you run LPES, it will not be signed during the app process.
And the place that it needs to be signed in order, or uploaded in order to be signed, is this where it says illustration PDF. So if it's attached in the attachment section, it won't actually go through the e-sign process. So this is the location that any illustrations created through WinFlex or Expert Illustrator will need to be attached.
I received a question, how much longer do we have the current system? The current system, we haven't determined the time that we will shut that off yet, but we will be meeting in the next couple of weeks to try to determine when we will have that available. One of the things that we're planning to do is we're planning to stop the start new case, but allow the view current cases so that whatever you have in there, you can continue to run out. And I think that's all the questions. If anybody has any others, please please type those in and we'll get those answered. Otherwise, we can give you back 7 minutes.
It's nice of us.
I was asked what the field support phone number is. It's 888-501-4043. Okay, well that looks like it's it. I appreciate everybody joining today. We hope you like the system. The Field Support Center is there for help, for feedback, anything you want to get back to us as far as changes, updates, things that don't make sense. Please feel free to let them know. We take those very seriously. Our pilot group came out like champs, giving us a bunch of feedback, things that we improved. So, you know, our motto on this system is it's really your system. You tell us what you want, and we'll see what we can do to accommodate it. Once again, that phone number for Field Support Center is 888-501-4043. All right, guys, thank you for joining us today. Have a good day.